Okay, so in the last class, we started the topic of solving the homogeneous differential equations, and we saw that in order to solve the homogeneous equation which is given over here, this one, if you have yt as the solution of this homogeneous equation, that can be divided into two parts. First is the homogeneous part, the second one is the particular part of this solution. And the homogeneous or the natural response, which we call this one as, the natural response can be found out by substituting xt equal to 0. So there will be no input excitation from the in the differential equation, and whatever solution that you will get will be the natural response or the transient response of the system. And note that the response that comes out uh, in this part will be mostly because of the initial conditions that we have in the system. Like for example, in the electrical circuits, if the capacitor has the initial voltage, then the response that will come is because of that initial voltage that is stored in the system. Or same is with the inductor, if it has a initial current stored into it, then whatever response that will come to the come out of the system will be because of that, but there will be no contribution of the input signal. So that's why it is also called as the natural response of the system. And that is also, you will see later on that once you get the natural response of the system, that is equivalent to getting the roots of the system, which this we will look into when we will go into the Laplace transforms theory. There we will discuss this point. Right now this is of no concern here, but the point that is to be noted is this is a natural response which is due to the stored voltages in stored, or you can say the initial condition of the systems. Now the second one that we discussed was the particular this one YPT. So this one we will see today. I think we discussed it last time. No, we didn't discuss it. So we will discuss it later. But right now, at this point, we will try to solve this particular solve this particular equation. This one, this one, because we are putting xt equal to 0. So let's see what solution we will get here. So the solution that we will be getting here is denoted by yht. So now this one I already told you that the transient response that comes because of YST will go down after a while. So it will not remain always, it will die down after some time, and that is because there is no input excitation given to the system. So now we were seeing that you can represent this particular differential equation which is given over here in the format which is this one, this one. So this we already discussed in the last class that we can represent that equation by this equation. So now what happens is this is called as the characteristics roots of the equation, and the value of s obtained from this differential equation, from this differential equation can be used in exponential functions that we have already defined. So you can use this as the exponential functions as a solution of the differential equation. So what I am saying here is the solution that you will get by solving this particular differential equation. From here you will get different values of s, like let's say s1, s2, s3, something like this. So you can use these values of s to find the solution of this differential solution which is given over here. What we were saying is just a second, this one. So we can use these s here. So once we get various values of s, we can substitute it here to get the solution yt. So if we can represent this equation which is given over here in a different format, so what we can do is we can write like this: a n s to the power n plus a n minus 1 s to the power n minus 1. Then we can do like this. We can represent this same equation in this format. So in this format, what happens is if s1, s2, s3 like this till Sn, if they are the roots of this equation, then what you can do is you can write it in this format also, because they are the roots of this equation. So we can write it like this, and from here you can see that S1, S2 till Sn are the solutions of this this polynomial. So if S1, S2, Sn are the solutions of this, so what we can do is we can use any root of this characteristic polynomial to construct the signal. So we can use any of these roots, like the roots that we are getting here, to construct the signal, and that signal will be ykt equal to ck e to the power skt. So for each of these roots, we can construct the signal ykt, where k is running from 1 to n. So your k is running from 1 till n. So you can, because there are n roots, so you can construct the individual ykt using this. And you know that the general solution of the homogeneous differential equation, the general solution which we were discussing here as this one, uh, this is the one which we are discussing here, the general solution of this homogeneous differential equation, that can be obtained by linear combination of all these terms which are given over here. So the general solution can be obtained by linear combination of all the terms which are given above, which are here. So you are actually taking all these terms and form a linear combination of it. So the solution that you will get now will be yht, that is the natural response of the system, equal to c1 e to the power s1t, the first solution, c2 e to the power s2t, the second solution, and then it goes up to cn e to the power snt. So this is the nth root of the polynomial. So finally, what you will get as a homogeneous solution will be k running from 1 to n. Then you have ck e to the power skt. So this is the solution, the natural response of the differential equation. And the important thing is these unknown coefficients that you are keeping along with these solutions that you are getting. So you are putting these unknown coefficients c1, c2, cn. These are the unknown coefficients which you will be basically getting the value of it, you will be getting by solving the using the initial conditions. So you will be using initial conditions of the problem to solve for these unknown coefficients ck. And these are also called as the important point is these e to the power skt are also called as the modes of the system or the poles of the system function. So we will discuss this again, that is why it is called as the poles of the system, when we will be discussing the Laplace transforms in the later part of this course. But the important point that is to be noted here is the natural response of the system actually gives information about the poles of the system. So so these are also called as modes of the system or poles of the system. So if you have any questions here regarding the solution of this homogeneous equation, you can ask me. Okay. So now, if you do not have any questions, so then I think you will be able to solve the questions that I will be giving it to you now. So let us say if you have, a question which says that you have a differential equation like this. Plus 6yt equal to 0. So now you have y0 equal to, let us say 1.5, and dy 0 over dt equal to 12. So this is the differential equation that we have. Can anyone tell me what is this? What is this? Yes, so these are the initial conditions for this particular differential equation. So, so I want you to solve for YHT here for this particular differential equation. So I am giving you 5 minutes for this. Let me know the answer. So right now it's 8:16. So after at 8:20 I will ask you the solution for this. Okay. So anyone has solved this? Okay. Okay. So okay, no problem. Let me solve this and let us see what results we will get here. So, as I told you that this is basically the differential equation where there is no input. As you can see clearly here, the input is 0. So, this differential equation is telling you that it's a equation that will give you a solution which is a natural response because there is no xt involved here. That is the first thing that should strike to you once you observe this equation. The second is you can see we have these initial conditions which are given, that is at time t is equal to 0, the value of y0 is 1.5 and the derivative of that is equal to 12. So these two are the initial condition, and why they are given? They are given, as I told you, to get these coefficients which are given over here. So somewhere or the other these differential these equation these initial conditions will help us to get this to this solution. And recall that what we were discussing last time was to replace all the d by d's here. We saw that all the operators which are given over here, that is dk to the power dk divided by dtk, can be replaced by sk. So that is what we have discussed uh, during the formulation of this problem. So now what you can do is you can replace it with the s. So if you replace by s, then this will become s square, this will become 5s, and this will become 6, and that is equal to 0. So now what's happening is you are replacing the differential operators by their corresponding s. So now you have this particular equation, and this is also called as the characteristics equation. So when we write this, it's having a characteristics. This is called as characteristics equation, and since you know this is a quadratic, it will have two roots. So the value of s1 that you get from here, one of the s1 will be -2, another one will be equal to -3. So that is as simple as that. You can check it out. So these are the two roots that you will get out of this particular solution of the quadratic equation. So now you know that we have already discussed that these roots are actually used here in this particular power, because somewhere or the other these are SKs where k is running from 1 to 2. So we will be writing this equation again, but now your capital N is 2 here. So now your homogeneous YST solution, your natural response solution will be C1 e to the power minus 2t plus C2 e to the power minus 3t. So this is your solution for the this differential equation. This is the natural response for this solution. So now you can see here that we have this answer, but the problem with this answer is that we do not know the values of C1 and C2. So now the second target is to calculate the values of C1 and C2. So this can be done by seeing this differential equation, and you know that at time t is equal to 0, the value of y0 is 1.5. So let's put that value here. So if you put yh equal to 0 here, so you know that the exponential terms will become 1. So C1 plus C2, and that is equal to 1.5. This is the first equation that you have. In the second equation, what it says is you take the differentiation, keep the value of t as 0, and then put it equal to 12. So now once you do that, first of all what you have to do is there is no term that involves d by dt of the yht. Since there is no term involved, so you have to take the differentiation of this term. So let's take the differentiation of this term here. So if you take the differentiation of the term that is given over the top is equal to, then it will be minus 2c1 e to the power minus 2t minus 3c2 e to the power minus 3t. So this is the value that you will get once you differentiate the above expression. And now it's easy, right? So you can put the value of dyh 0 over dt. So you are putting the time value as 0. So it's again, giving you one more equation, and this value is equal to 12. Why it is 12? Because it's already given in the as an initial condition. So now you have these two equations. First equation is this one, and the second equation is this one. So once you solve these two equations, the value that you will get for C1 is 16.5, and the value of C2 will be minus 50. So these will be the two coefficients that you will get once you solve the initial condition. So the final solution that you will get, the natural response of this system will be 16.5 e to the power minus 2t minus 15 e to the power minus 3t. This is the solution that you will get. And now what I want to point out here is the importance of the natural response. And the importance of the natural response is that if you plot this YHT, it will be like this. So if this is the time axis, this is, let us say, 0. So what will happen is, if you plot this curve, it will be like, something like this, and it will go to 0, as I told you that the after some time t. So you have to see, once you plot this, you will get this answer. But the important point is that it starts at some value here. And what is that value? The value is, what is that value? The value is 1.5. So why it is starting at this point is because, I told you last time that the voltages on the capacitor, if they are given to you, these are something like, you can think of this as a voltage. So if this is a voltage on the capacitor, then all the voltages will start from initial condition values. So now you can see here that once you put these initial conditions here onto this system, which is given over on the left side, so you can clearly observe that it starts at 1.5. It doesn't start from 0. So that means there are two observations. First observation is that the natural response will always die down after some time t. So it will not be remaining there. It will die down and it will become 0 after a while. And the second thing is, if there is initial conditions in the voltage or the inductor or maybe any other system, but for electrical systems you are aware of it, that's why I'm giving that example. So if initial conditions are there, then the response will start from that initial condition at time t is equal to 0. That is another important point that has to be taken care of. And the third important point that I want to discuss is that since you are posing these initial conditions here, since you are posing that you have some initial conditions, you have these initial conditions, what can you say about this system, whether this system is time variant or time invariant, this differential equation? Can anybody tell me that? If you are posing that you have these initial conditions, then will this differential equation be time invariant or time variant? Sorry, linear or non-linear? Time invariant will be there. See, this equation will always be time invariant. But how about the linearity? Whether this differential equation is linear or non-linear? Anyone? Yes. So this equation will be non-linear because if you note down earlier when we were discussing the constraints on this particular differential equation, which we have here, this one, if you recall back our earlier lecture, so what I told was that this we were discussing the linearity and time invariance of this differential equation. I told that, if you want this system to be linear, then all the all the what do you say, all the initial conditions have to be set to 0. And if the initial conditions are there, then it will not be linear at all. Whereas time invariance, it will always be time invariant. uh, but the only thing is, the coefficients here ak and bk should not be time dependent. So if they are time dependent, then it will be not time invariant. So that is also another important point. So as you can see here, this 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 example, the differential equation which we are having here is non-linear because of this initial conditions which we have given. If they were zero here, then you can say that it is linear. Okay, so this is the first example. Now let's look at another scenario. In another scenario, what will happen is it always there are some cases in which you will get different solutions for this root. So as I told you here, let me go back. So these roots which we are getting over here, there are different cases. The first case is that all roots are distinct and real valued. that is that is the case which we have discussed here. So here we are assuming that all the roots are different and real valued, the roots that we are getting like s1 s2 sn. So that is case 1. In case 2, it might be the case that the two roots or three roots like s1 s2 are same, and or three roots are same or four roots are same and the rest of them are distinct. So in that type of situation we have different way of handling the problem. So the second case which we are discussing now is that in which s1 s2 are same, or s1 s2 s3 are same. So let us say if r roots are same, let us say you have s minus s1 to the power r. So we have r such terms which are same. So you can term them together. So let us say if you have r such terms, you can write this expression as like this also, and the rest of them will be here like maybe the s minus s5 like this equal to 0. So the important thing is we are saying let there be r such terms which can be grouped together. So in that case, what happens is your solution becomes a bit different. So in that case, the homogeneous solution YHT which will become like this. So C1 e to the power S1t plus so let me rewrite it again. So the solution will be C11 plus C12 T plus dot C1R, and then we will have TR minus 1. So in this situation, your if S1 is repeated R times, if the solution of this root repeats R times, then you will have this polynomial attached with that, and then you will have further other roots can be written as c2 e to the power s2t like this. Then you will have the same thing going on again, e to the power snt equal to 0, not 0, this will be the answer. So if this shows that if your s1 repeats, so if your s1 repeats multiple times, then you have to attach a polynomial along with that, which is given by this. So in order to understand it, let's have a example for this. So if you have a differential equation, let me show you one example. So if you have a differential equation like this, 6 dyt by dt plus 9 y of t equal to 0. So if you have, let us say, this differential equation with the initial conditions that are given to you as this, and the another one is this. So now if we want to solve this particular differential equation, so what we have to do is we have to replace all these operators by s. So now what will happen is the result will be s square plus 6s plus 9 equal to 0. So now it's easy, right? So what we have done is we have replaced the derivatives with the s. So now if you solve this, you will get answer as s plus 3 square equal to 0. So you have actually repetitive roots at s1 equal to minus 3. So there are two repetitive roots at s1 equal to minus 3. So what you do is you will write the expression for YHT as C11 plus C12T. So you will have only two terms because the repetitive root is R2 here. So the only two terms will be retaining, or you can put the value of R as 2 here. So you will get only the C12T as one of the factors along with C11. And then you will have e to the power minus 3t attached to it. So this is the homogeneous solution or natural response solution to this is a natural response solution to this differential equation. So now if you so now using these initial conditions, we have to get these values of C11 and C12. So how we will get it? So you know that the initial voltage or initial value of Y0 is 2 here. So you can substitute YH equal to 0 here. So that will give you C11 plus C12 times 0, because T is attached to it, and this is 1, and that gives you equal to 2. So this straight away gives you a value of C11 as 2. Now in the second case you have to take the derivative, and that you have to set to 4.5. So in the first case, when you take the derivative in this particular thing, what you will get is, in the first case you will get is minus 3C11 e to the power minus 3t, and then it's easy. In the second case, what you have to do is you have to apply chain rule here. So what you will get now is minus 3t e to the power minus 3t plus e to the power minus 3t. So this is, once you apply chain rule, because we have t into e to the power minus 3t multiplied together, so you have to apply chain rule, and you substitute the value of t equal to 0 here and equate it to the value of 4.5, because you know that you are substitute when you, the initial condition says that put t equal to 0 in the derivative, and that will give you a value of 4.5. So once you do that, what you will get is minus 3C11 plus C12, and that is equal to 4.5. So this you get once you solve for this particular equation. And now you have, C11 already calculated as 2, so your C12 will be as simple as that, it will be 10.5. So once you get these both values, your YHT now will become 2 plus 10.5 times t e to the power minus 3t. So this will be your solution for the for this particular differential equation which we have given on the top. So as you can see, this particular homogeneous or the natural response will also die down as t tends to infinite. So you can see that when your t tends to infinite, it will also be, will be a problem. So it will also die down. So now this finishes off with the case where you have repeated roots, which we are giving as a solution by using this expression. So whatever root is repeated, we will repeat it, we will attach it with this polynomial along with that. So the third case that comes is that it might be the situation that your roots are complex. So when your roots are complex, it requires a bit of understanding that if the roots are complex, then how to solve it. So as you know, the coefficients of these differential equations, the coefficients that we are having here for the differential equations, for this particular differential equation, let me show you these coefficients ak or bk is not here because right now we are considering the natural responses. So as you know, the coefficients are real, so as so the roots that you will get will happen in the complex conjugate format. So if your roots are in the complex conjugate format, then what will happen is you can write the homogeneous solution as C1a e to the power S1at plus C1b e to the power S1bt. So right now we are considering the case where the roots are complex. So if the roots are complex, they will happen in complex conjugate format, and the reason I have given you is that the coefficients of the differential equation are real. So in order to make them work around, so the roots have to be complex conjugate of each other. So now if roots are complex conjugate, so what you can do is you can write like this: sigma plus j omega t plus c1b e to the power sigma minus j omega t. So what we are doing now is we are writing the roots which are complex conjugate of each other. Similarly, you can impose that same constraint on these coefficients which we have over here, that is your C1a and C1b. So in order to make the real part of the differential equations, that is AKs as real, in order to make that coefficients real, these C1A and C1B also have to be, a complex conjugate pairs. So once we impose that condition here also, so what we will get is we can replace this C1A by this expression here, and this will remain as such, and again we replace it, and this will remain as such. So this is a situation where we are dealing with complex conjugate, complex quantities, where we have the characteristic polynomial giving you complex valued roots. So in that situation, we have to do these type of manipulations. So if you solve this particular expression by expanding and taking the real and the imaginary parts separately, that is you can write it like this. You can write it like this. You can take only the real and the imaginary parts separate. So once you do like this, so what will happen is the solution that you will get by doing like this will be 2c1 e to the power sigma t cos omega t plus theta. So you can see now that the solution that you will get when you have complex roots will be this, which is given over here. So you can actually use that term where cos omega t can be represented as e to the power j theta, e to the power minus j theta divided by 2. So using that you can easily come up with this expression which is given over here. Another way of writing this same expression is by expanding the cos a plus b factor, or that is by using cos a plus b as cos a cos b minus sin a sin b. So once you do that, the second way of writing this same expression will be 2c1 cos theta 1 e to the power sigma t, then you have cos omega t, this is not theta 1, this is theta, then we have 2c1 sin theta e to the power just a second, e to the power sigma 1 sigma t sin omega t. So this is the second way of representing that same yst which is given over here. So we can represent it in this format also, and this we have done by using the cos a plus b identity. So once you have this, you can write it in this format. One is d1 e to the power sigma t cos omega t plus d2 e to the power sigma t sin omega t. And what we are saying is we are actually replacing this factor, this one. We are replacing this by a constant which is d1 here, and we are replacing this also by a constant which is d2 here. So this is again a second way of representing the same solution. Either of this will be okay, but they are represented in this format. That is, the first is this one, and the second format is this one. So these two solutions will be given once you have these two solutions are same, and they are coming because your roots are complex. So let me give you one example for this also, so that things will become more clearer. So if you have a question like this, that is, you have this differential equation given over here, 2 dy by dt plus 26 yt equal to 0, and the initial conditions that are given to you are 2, and then you have this one. So in this situation, if you solve, then you will have this as the characteristic polynomial, and the roots of this will be minus 1 plus j5, another one will be minus 1 minus j5. So these will be the two roots, and now you can use this particular expression here. So if you use that, what will be the answer of yst? your yst will be d1 e to the power, you will have sigma 1, and sigma is actually equal to minus 5 here. As you can see over here, this is a sigma over here, and the omega is 5 radians per second, because what we are saying is we are writing the roots as sigma plus j omega and sigma minus j omega. So if you compare sigma and omega using these roots, you will get the answer as minus 1 and 5. So once you substitute these values, you will get this answer here, that is cos 5t plus d2 e to the power minus t sin 5t. So this will be your answer for the homogeneous solution. And once you keep these constraints which are given over here, that is once you put the values of this and this, you will get the values of t1 and d2. So if you put time t equal to 0 here in this expression, the only term that is left is d1, and that will give you answer as 2. So the coefficient d1 is calculated as 2 here, and for the second one you have to take the derivative of this. I am not doing it now, but you can take the derivative of this expression which is given over here. You take the derivative, put time t equal to 0 there, and substitute the value equal to 13. So you will have another equation which will give you this answer, that is minus d1 plus 5d2 equal to 13. You can check it out. So once you have this value calculated, you can substitute it here in this equation. The value of d2 that you will get here is 3. So you will get both the answers d1 and d2 by solving it through the initial conditions which are given. So the final solution that you will get as an answer will be 2 e to the power minus t cos 5t plus 3 e to the power minus t sin 5t. And you can see now this also tends to 0 as time t becomes infinite. Though we have, though we have cos 5t and sin 5t which do not, which do not vanish away as the time moves from minus infinity to infinity, but because of this factor minus t which is multiplied with these cos and sin terms, it happens that this will make the whole natural response tends to 0 as time t tends to infinity. So the reason why this response is coming is because of the stored energy which we have here. These are called as the stored energy. So this is basically, you can say that it is due to the capacitor because it's a voltage, and since you are taking the derivative of the voltage equal to 13, then this is because of the inductor which is there in the system. So because of the initial stored capacitor voltage and inductor's current, you are getting these responses where the time tending to infinity, your output will tend to 0. So this finishes off with all the cases for solving for the natural response of the system. So if you have any questions, then we can discuss. Otherwise, we will leave the class today. Let me see how many of you are here.
We have a table for like which tells us for which condition we have to suppose which solution.
No, see, the situation that you will get is either they will be real, or they will be the repeated roots, or they will be a complex roots, right? So in that three cases which we have already covered the way we have to solve it for the homogeneous situations, like the natural responses. The table that you are looking for will come in case of particular solution or the forced response, where for the specific value of input you have to have a specific value of you have to formulate your particular solution in that format. So table actually comes in that part, not in this way. Okay. Any other question? Okay, so if you do not have any questions, so let us meet tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.